You've been working with Thoughts in the Green Room on and off for the last 25, 26 years. So, what exactly is Thoughts in the Green Room? Now, that's a very poignant question, especially right now, because this episode marks the official fourth iteration and relaunch of Thoughts in the Green Room as a video YouTube station. And I think, in a nutshell, to answer your question, that Thoughts in the Green Room has always been a space for me to voice my opinions, exercise my demons, and share some of my philosophies. And when I first came to Toronto back in '97, when I graduated, I wasn't getting exactly what I wanted as an artist. I wasn't achieving the mass levels of fame that a young man thought he'd get overnight. And I needed a way to vent myself. I needed a way to get it off my chest and not burden everybody with my woes and my depressions. So I started journaling. And that was really the first iteration of Thoughts from the Green Room, was simply me sitting down at my desk and writing out my angst so that I wasn't throwing it out towards my friends and family. But when I reflected on those writings, as time went by, I started to realize they weren't just thoughts of angst and frustration. I had started naturally flowing with writing about some of my genuine thoughts and philosophies on the world, thoughts of what it's like to be an artist and what it's like to interact in the world as an artist. And I realized that there was something a little bit more there than just some angst. And I wanted to share that with people. I didn't know how to at the time. And a few weeks went by before I started thinking about writing a blog, which was officially titled Thoughts from the Green Room. And in that initial blog series, which is still active and can be found, I started to share, without any real intention or goal, my thoughts and philosophies on being an actor in the city. It had other entries in there as well, various things. I've got some rock climbing writings in there and general thoughts. But all in all, it was truly just me blathering on about what it's like to struggle and be an artist in Toronto. One of my good friends reached out to me and said he really wanted to hear my words rather than just read my words. And through a lot of conversation and prodding, he started pushing me forward, and I started trying out what it would be like to record my thoughts. And my first couple real episodes in terms of video format for Thoughts from the Green Room were some video inserts into that original written blog. And after a couple episodes of that and getting good feedback from my friend, seeing some comments from a few people who were following me on that blog site, I thought it was time to make the leap. And I did. I formally launched the YouTube channel, Thoughts from the Green Room, and I began sharing my exact same thoughts that I was throwing out to the blog to a video format. The difference when I went to video was that I took the time to be a little bit more calculated. At the time that I made that switch, I was really feeling embroiled in an ongoing discussion with people around the us versus them. And what I mean by that is there felt like, and to some degree there still is, a culture of the arts community versus the traditional or the 9-to-5 community. And they really felt at odds with each other in the way that we go about differences in a day-to-day activity, pursuit of career, how we get funds or don't have funds. And it was an ongoing battle. And I say battle because it kept coming up as heated arguments. And when I launched Thoughts from the Green Room, the YouTube channel, a primary function of that was to actively discuss how I felt the us versus them mentality wasn't necessary, because we're all people. And being all people, we all share the same things, we wear the same masks, with the one difference being that, by stereotype only, a traditional 9-to-5 job keeps people running and living the rat race, so they don't reflect as much as, again, going to the stereotype, as an artist might, because artists are actively reflecting in order to produce art that has meaning to them. So aside from a little bit of reflection, people are people, and why are we creating anxiety and war against each other when there's no need to? So the original video version of Thoughts in the Green Room aimed to address those thoughts and those philosophies. And I felt it ran successfully for a while, a small following, and more importantly for me, it's always been about me expressing myself, so it was another creative outlet for me. A little while went by and wasn't sure what I was doing with it, so it shut down for a period of time, and then I picked it up again with a different focus, which was to move away from the argument and start including other artists into my video blog. So I started inviting other artists into my room to discuss any active thoughts, to promote them, to take a look at other artists rather than just myself, in addition to the fact that I was still voicing my thoughts and philosophies. And that ran for quite a little while in between, I guess, 2019 and 2022, 2021-ish, when COVID made it pretty much impossible for me to invite friends over to interview them and have that discussion with them. And as a result of that, I shut down Thoughts in the Green Room because I didn't know what else to talk about. So you ask the question, what is Thoughts in the Green Room? And almost 4 years have gone by. We're now in 2026. And I've finally come to the idea of what I want to say and what I want to do with this channel. And it remains a channel that speaks to my philosophies and my ideas and my thoughts on being an artist. I think that the true focus now and here isn't going to be so much just thoughts from myself, but thoughts that I take in from elsewhere. I've been watching a lot of interviews and there's a lot going on in the world, but the interviews that I've seen sparked some thoughts, and they're not questions of my own about myself, as Thoughts in the Green Room has always been, but they're thoughts from outsiders. And I've wanted to answer some of those questions or respond to some of those things that I've thought and put my spin on them or share my spin on them. So Thoughts from the Green Room remains a space for me to share my philosophies on art and the world and how artists interact with the world. But now it's going to be infused with questions, thoughts, ideas from external influences as well as internal influences. And I'm going to do my best to answer some of those questions that I've seen asked. I'm going to do my best to answer some of my own rising questions. And I'm going to look for something that's got maybe a broader view than simply Geoff Mays's internal philosophies on being an artist. And I guess that brings it around to this new iteration, this being episode 0. The first few episodes, for viewers who are new, I'm going to give a bit of a history of who I am and where I come from as an artist, and some background, I guess, if you will, that leads to what Thoughts in the Green Room is. But I'm also going to open it up to you, the viewer, you, the audience. If you've got a question or a thought that you'd like discussed, I can't promise that I'll get to them all, but throw a thought in the comment. Leave me a way to contact you, and let's have a little chat about that. And let's see if your thought is one of those ones that I might be able to bring to life on Thoughts from the Green Room. So in that respect, Thoughts in the Green Room is my channel expressing my views and philosophies on the world, on being an artist, as well as the influence of the viewer and what they'd like to hear about, so that maybe I can address wider, broader, different issues than when I can come up alone. And there you have it. Thoughts from the Green Room is a space to share philosophies, thoughts, and ideas. Primarily artistic, I imagine, but no limitation on that.